Hello and welcome to our brand new show, Firstpost Spotlight, where we bring you stories that matter to you from all across the world. From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, we shed light on issues that shape our world. I'm Alison Lagrange, live from Durban, South Africa. Let's begin with the top headlines. Israel demands full demilitarization of Gaza and the removal of Hamas in order to proceed with the second phase of the ceasefire deal. This as Arab leaders convene in Cairo. EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen presents a five-part plan to mobilize around 800 billion euros for Europe's defense and help provide immediate military support for Ukraine. China and Canada unveil retaliatory measures against the US after sweeping tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump came into effect, escalating a trade war. The US government says it is mulling scrapping more than $50 million in contracts with New York's Columbia University over allegations it failed to protect Jewish students. And Rwanda is reportedly asking the UK for a $63 million payment over a cancelled asylum deal after London paused some bilateral aid to the country over the war in the DRC. Hello and welcome. We begin with the latest from the White House. Days after Donald Trump's public spat with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy sent global shockwaves, the US president launched another verbal assault on the Ukrainian leader. Trump said that Zelenskyy's comment that war against Russia will continue is the worst statement that could have been made in the current times. The US president suggested that Zelenskyy does not want to end the war, while Russia is very much on board to sign a war-ending deal. Trump exhorted Zelenskyy to be more thankful for American wartime support for Ukraine as he suspended the remainder of the U.S. military aid to Ukraine.
Well, I just think he should be more appreciative because this country has stuck with them through thick and thin, and the deal can be made very fast. It should not be that hard a deal to make. It can be made very fast. Now, maybe somebody doesn't want to make a deal. And if somebody doesn't want to make a deal, I think that person won't be around very long. That person will not be listened to very long because I believe that Russia wants to make a deal.
According to Germany-based Kiel Institute, Washington has spent over $119 billion to support Ukraine between January of 2022 to December of 2024. The US is followed by European Union nations with over $51.3 billion in wartime support for Ukraine. Germany and the UK are the next big Ukraine aid donors. Trump pausing Ukraine aid? What does this mean? Now, in the 3 years since the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine war, the US Congress has voted through 5 bills to support Kyiv. These bills appropriated a total of $175 billion for Ukraine. Of this, around $119 billion were actually spent until December of 2024, meaning that with the suspension of the US aid, Ukraine has potentially lost out on a total of $55 billion in wartime support. Reports citing current and former Western officials say that without the new U.S. military aid, Ukraine likely has enough weapons to keep fighting Russia until the middle of the year. But after that, the U.S. aid suspension would cut Ukraine's access to advanced weapons systems, critical to Kyiv's broader strategy to decisively counter Moscow's full-scale offensive. They include Patriot air defense batteries and munitions, Army Tactical Missile Systems, or ATACMS, and M142 High Mobility Artillery Rocket Systems, or HIMARS. Experts say that once the existing supplies of this advanced U.S. weaponry runs out, Kyiv's forces would struggle to protect their own positions. Now, this is a far cry from existing Western discourse to ensure that Ukraine gets its lost territory back from Russia. With US aid to Ukraine now suspended, the balance of power on the battlefield could further shift towards Russia in the months ahead. Trump's geopolitical drubbing to Ukraine's Zelensky may hold even more significance. Will European allies step up, or will Kyiv be forced to turn to diplomacy on Trump's terms? And shifting our focus to India, with a long-standing border dispute with China and an overall tense frontier up in the north, the world's biggest defense importer is fast moving to modernize its air force. To strengthen its air power, India currently has two options on the table: a cutting-edge American F-35 jet or a fifth-generation Sukhoi jet from Russia. Last month, the Russian Sukhoi and the American-made F-35 shared the same airspace at the Aero India Air Show in Bengaluru. Now, at first, the photograph of the two fighter jets, one parked on the tarmac and the other zooming past it in the air, may look rather ordinary. In reality, it symbolizes the competition to be the top defense supplier of the world's biggest defense importer. The participation of the two advanced aircraft in India's Bengaluru came when the US President Donald Trump offered India the same F-35 jets during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Washington visit. Recognizing the opportunity that India is facing a critical choice of aircraft while modernizing its air force, Trump pitched the American fifth-generation fighter jet as an answer to India's growing defense needs.
This year, we'll be increasing military sales to India by many billions of dollars. We're also paving the way to ultimately provide India with the F-35 stealth fighters.
But Trump's F-35 sales pitch is unlikely to make it through to Indian skies, given New Delhi's push for co-production of the country's defense needs as a part of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Make in India push. At the same time, the US F-35 jets also face several issues. The US intends to sell F-35s to India instead of co-producing. The high costs, splurging maintenance, as well as prolonged operational dependence on the US does not add to India's defense calculus. India could also possibly look at buying or co-producing the Russian Sukhoi fifth-generation jet. This would make integration of the Russian jets into the Air Force easier. It's because India operates 31 fighter and combat squadrons, most of which are Russian and Soviet-era aircraft. But in 2018, New Delhi exited the decade-long program to co-produce the jet with Russia, reportedly due to tech transfer and cost-sharing issues. However, Indian Air Force is aging and remains short on fighter jets. The IAF's authorized strength is 42 squadrons with 16 to 18 fighter jets in each, but it currently operates only 30 squadrons. Now, in recent years, India has focused on defense indigenization with homegrown production of the Tejas fighter jets. At the same time, the deal for 36 Rafale fighter jets has done its bit in boosting the IAF's air power, given the threat of a two-front war with China and Pakistan. To keep up with its air power requirements, India is faced by a critical choice: a faster turnaround with direct purchases of American F-35 jets, or a fresh deal with Russia for a fifth-generation Sukhoi jet, which also takes India's Make in India vision forward. For our next story, let's look at a new pattern emerging among Americans. A record number of them are wanting a way out for a shot at something different across the Atlantic. Last year, the number of US citizens applying for UK citizenship hit a historic high. Let's take a look at some of the numbers. As many as 6,100 Americans applied in 2024. This is the highest number since official data began being recorded 2 decades ago. This is a 26% jump from 2023, marking a sharp rise. Now, according to data published by the UK Home Office, in the last quarter of 2024, there was a 40% surge compared to the same period in 2023. Some 1,700 people wanted British citizenship. But it's not just Americans ditching their country. A lot of other people from around the world are also keen. In yet another milestone, individuals from all around the globe are also trying their hand at dual citizenship. Global applications rose 6%. It reached over 250,000 last year, which is another record-breaking number. So what's driving this exodus? For some, it's politics, meaning Donald Trump's return to power has left many reconsidering their future in the United States of America. Others are drawn by the new UK tax policies. For them, settling those new regulations appeal to them more to settle in Britain. One immigration lawyer pointed out that interest in the UK citizenship has been significantly higher in the lead up to Trump's return to power than compared to his previous term. The lawyer added many wealthy Americans in the UK also benefit from the non-domiciled tax status. Now, this allows foreigners who live in the UK to avoid paying UK taxes on their income that is earned outside of the country. This has been a big advantage for wealthy expats, including some Americans. However, the UK government is scrapping the status. Now, this means that non-doms will start paying UK taxes on their global income. Worried about the new rules, some are thinking about leaving the UK altogether by applying for citizenship. They may be trying to lock in residency before the tax laws change. Now, whether it is political uncertainty or financial incentives, more Americans than ever are looking at Britain not just as a vacation spot, but as a home. And wildfires are no longer rare seasonal disasters. They are becoming relentless, year-round catastrophes. In Japan, firefighters are waging a desperate battle against the country's most severe wildfires in 5 decades. The blaze ignited 5 days ago, following the record low rainfall in February, which left the land dangerously dry. Ofanato received just 0.1 inches of rain last month. Now, this extreme dryness, combined with strong winds, has made firefighting efforts increasingly difficult. More than 2,000 firefighters, including reinforcements from Tokyo, are battling the flames from both the air and the ground. Military and fire department helicopters have been deployed to douse the fire, but officials warn that containment remains elusive. Japan's northern city of Ofanato is the epicenter of an unprecedented wildfire. It has claimed 1 life, displaced nearly 4,000 residents, and has destroyed at least 80 buildings. As of today, the inferno had consumed approximately 2,600 hectares, or 6,400 acres of land, making it the largest wildfire in Japan since 1975. Now, while declining since their peak in the 1970s, climate change is making extreme weather events more common. Last year, Japan recorded its hottest summer on record. Experts warn that the combination of rising temperatures and prolonged dry spells could make wildfires a persistent threat. Scientists have long warned that climate change is extending fire seasons. Nowhere is this more evident than in California, where wildfires have become a devastating natural reality. On the 7th of January, 2 massive fires, the Palisades and the Eaton fires, erupted in the Los Angeles County. It claimed the lives of at least 30 people. It destroyed over 10,000 homes and scorched more than 37,000 acres of land. These wildfires, deemed the most destructive in the city's history, raged for more than 3 weeks before firefighters declared them fully contained. Though Japan and California sit on opposite sides of the Pacific, their wildfire struggles highlight a shared reality. Climate change is reshaping the global fire landscape. Once rare infernos are becoming routine, fueled by rising temperatures, unpredictable rainfall, and human activity. Without intervention, both Japan and California could see even more devastating fire seasons in the coming years. As Japan firefighters continue their battle and California begins to rebuild, one thing is clear: wildfires are no longer isolated disasters. They are a warning of what's to come in a rapidly changing climate. And that's all we have on the show for today. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.